Starting a blog in 2025 is a paradox. In one way, it's never been easier. We have AI tools that can write code, draft articles, and generate images in seconds. But in another way, it's never been harder to actually rank and be seen. While AI simplifies the creative side, the technical side like setup, SEO configurations, and the hosting performance, that's where most beginners still hit a wall. You get overwhelmed by the noise before you even publish your first blog post. So today, we're cutting through that noise, and I'm going to show you how to build a fully optimized WordPress website and blog using a simple, repeatable workflow that leverages AI not just for writing, but for the architecture of the site itself. Before we open a single tool, we need to talk about why 90% of new blogs end up in the digital graveyard within the first 6 months. And it isn't usually because the writer ran out of ideas. It's because the foundation was cracked. And the first major killer is analysis paralysis. You spend weeks debating which theme looks prettier or which plugin handles email capture best. You overthink the tools and underthink the strategy. The second killer is technical performance. You sign up for the cheapest shared hosting that you could find to save a few bucks, but the result is a slow site. And in 2025 and in 2026, if your site loads slowly, Google buries you and users bounce instantly. The third issue is a lack of content plan. You write 3 posts about 3 totally different topics, confusing the search algorithms about what your site is actually about. And finally, basic SEO errors. You start writing without understanding how structure impacts ranking. And if you've tried starting before and felt like you're shouting into the void, this is why. You don't need more willpower, you need a better system. This is where our system begins, and surprisingly, we aren't opening a website builder yet. Step 1 happens entirely inside your AI tool of choice. Now, think of it as building a house. You don't just start nailing wood together, you need a blueprint, and AI is your architect. First, use AI to validate your niche. Don't just guess, ask the AI to analyze current trends and competition gaps in the topic that you're interested in. You want to find that sweet spot between high traffic and low competition. Then once you have your niche, use AI to generate your content strategy. Ask it for a topical map. You want it to generate 30 article headlines grouped into 3 or 4 main categories. These are your pillars. This ensures that from day one, your blog looks like an authority to search engines, not a random collection of thoughts. Next, have the AI draft your critical pages, your about page, your contact page, and even your privacy policy template. Finally, have it outline your site structure. Ask it, based on these content pillars, what should my navigation menu look like? And by the time you finish this step, your blog is effectively built on paper. You have the map, now we just need to pour the concrete. So now that we have the plan, we need the platform. And despite the rise of drag and drop builders in 2025, WordPress is still king. Why? Because you own it. It offers full control, it's arguably the most SEO-friendly platform on earth, and the customization is unlimited. But WordPress is like a high-performance sports car engine. It requires the right fuel to run properly, and that fuel is your hosting. For WordPress to survive core web vital updates and keep users happy, you need a few non-negotiables. Speed, it needs to be lightning fast. Uptime, it needs to be online 24/7. Scalability, it needs to handle traffic spikes when a post goes viral. And you need advanced tech like server-side caching and a global CDN. If you ignore these, no amount of AI content will save you. You need a host that manages the heavy lifting for you so you can focus on the content. And this brings us to Cloudways. It's the tool that bridges the gap between cheap, slow hosting and expensive, complicated enterprise servers. It gives you access to the same high-performance infrastructure that big tech companies use like DigitalOcean, AWS, or Google Cloud, but it gives it to you with a simple, user-friendly control panel. Plus, Cloudways allows you to launch your own server and build WordPress sites, among many other things. And with Cloudways, there aren't any shared servers or fighting for bandwidth. You get your own dedicated space on premium cloud servers. Essentially, you get the engine of a Ferrari with the steering wheel of a Toyota. It's managed, it's secure, and for a new blog, it's surprisingly affordable. So on that note, let's walk through how to get started with Cloudways and set up a WordPress website and blog. Now, unlike traditional shared hosting, where you're simply renting space on a server shared with other people, Cloudways lets you configure your own virtual private server. And that means you could set up the exact server parameters that you need on whichever cloud provider that you want from this list that you'll see in a few moments, and then install unlimited websites on it. Then as your site grows, you can easily scale your resources for more capacity. So to get started, under the application and server details, select Optimize WordPress, and it should already be selected, but you could change it if you want to use a different setup by clicking that drop down. As you can see, Cloudways offers several options for various setups, but I'm keeping it set to Optimized WordPress since I'll be building a WordPress blog. Then go ahead and name your application, server, and project. And this is just for backend organizational purposes, so I'll name the application WordPress, then bin server, and the project will be my first project. Then for the application stack, I recommend going with the hybrid stack. It's fast and stable, but if you need help choosing, you could click that link there, and Cloudways gives you a brief overview of each stack to help you determine which one suits your requirements. But like I said, for this example, I'm going to be using the hybrid stack, so we'll select that one. Next, you'll select your server provider, and you could choose between DigitalOcean, Vultr, or Linode for the free trial. Then AWS and Google Cloud require a paid plan. So if you want the most affordable option, I recommend going with DigitalOcean. But if you have the budget for it, AWS or Google Cloud are still great options as well. Then depending on the provider you pick, you'll see slightly different settings here, but if you're following along for the most affordable setup, I recommend choosing the basic server type and then start with 1 or 2 gigabytes of RAM. You could always scale up later if you need more power. And when selecting how many gigabytes of RAM, you could use this slider to determine the best amount for your needs. But keep in mind that the more RAM you use, the higher your hourly and monthly usage costs will be. So for this example, since I'm trying to be as budget friendly as possible, I'll choose 1 gigabyte, which you'll notice has dropped my hourly and monthly costs considerably. Next, you'll want to choose a server location that's closest to your audience so they get the best possible loading speeds. And clicking here gives you a few options. So again, choose a server location that is closest to your audience. If you're unsure where that may be, just pick the one closest to your current location. All right, then once everything looks good, click the Launch Now button to deploy your server. And you might see some optional plugin suggestions. Feel free to check the box to include these in your WordPress configuration. And I gotta say that Omnisend is actually a great email marketing provider. If you're in need of email marketing tools and resources for your website and business, I actually have some Omnisend video tutorials that I'll link to in the video description below. If you're interested, check them out whenever you have some extra time. But for now, I'm just gonna click Skip for now, and I'll add the plugins later on in the video. Then Cloudways gets to work spinning up your server, which takes a few minutes, and you can monitor it here, but for the sake of time, I'm gonna fast forward to when it's done. And once setup is complete, you now have a live WordPress site. Doesn't get any easier than that. Now, we obviously have a few more things to do to make it a legit website or blog, but if you click the www icon on the server there, you can access the applications installed on this server, which should be WordPress, and from the panel on the right, there it is. Go ahead and click on WordPress, and that'll open your WordPress Access Details page. And if this is your first time here, it may seem a bit overwhelming with all the usernames and passwords, but it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it and understand what's what. And for this example, to access your application, which in this case is our WordPress site, click the application URL link to view your live site. And it's pretty basic for now, but it's live on the internet and ready to customize. Now, you'll notice it currently uses a temporary Cloudways app domain, which we obviously want to change. So next, let's connect our own custom domain. So back at the Access Details page, from the sidebar menu on the left, select Domain Management. From here, you'll see your temporary domain listed with a button to add domain. Cloudways doesn't sell domains directly, so you'll need to bring in your own domain. And if you don't already have one, I recommend Namecheap or GoDaddy for affordable and easy to manage domains. So next, let me show you exactly how to purchase and configure your DNS records to point your domain to your new Cloudways site. Now that our server and WordPress application are set up and running, it's time to connect a custom domain and set up your SSL certificate. Now, if you've never done this before, it's actually quite easy. Don't let the technical jargon fool you. And Cloudways makes it super simple as well. Plus, I'm going to walk you through it step by step. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, I'll be using a brand new domain name from GoDaddy. You don't have to use GoDaddy as your registrar. The steps to configure the DNS will be pretty much the exact same no matter which registrar you use. However, the steps to buy the domain and access the DNS settings may be slightly different. But if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out in the comments or contact Cloudways customer support, and we'd be more than happy to help you out in any way that we can. I'll also link to some help docs that will walk you through the process if you're having any issues getting started as well. Okay, so from GoDaddy, let's find a domain to purchase. So in that field at the top of the screen, go ahead and enter your desired domain name, and be sure to enter the full domain. Don't add any prefixes or www, just the domain. And then click the Search Domains button. Then if the domain is available, you'll see it listed here. And go ahead and click the Make It Yours button. And then it looks like I have to click the Next button to move on. And then this is where you could customize your billing period. So GoDaddy lets you choose how long you want to register your domain, anywhere from 1 year up to looks like 10 years. And if you just want to keep things simple, you could start with a 1-year term, but if you'd rather not worry about renewals for a while, you can lock it in for multiple years at a discounted rate. And you'll also see the option to enable full domain protection, which helps prevent unauthorized changes and adds an extra layer of security with 2-factor verification. Now, it's optional, but I highly recommend keeping it turned on, especially if your website will represent your business or brand. So I'm going to go with 1-year billing cycle for this domain. And then once you've chosen your term length and protection level, you can review the pricing breakdown on the right-hand side of the screen. And it looks like about $24 for the year. That's not bad at all. Then below that, GoDaddy will offer some additional upsells like professional email with Microsoft 365. Now, having a professional email address that's linked to your domain is great for your business, but you could skip this for now and set it up later if you prefer. So I'm actually going to skip it and leave no professional email selected. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and click the Continue to Cart button to move to the checkout page. Next, you'll want to fill in your billing information and select your payment method. You could use PayPal, a credit card, or another available option, but after verifying your order details one last time and filling this out, go ahead and click Complete Purchase. And then once your payment is processed, you'll see a confirmation screen that says your new domain is officially yours. Congratulations, GoDaddy will also email you a receipt confirming this purchase. Then this is where the steps make it a little different, because when we click continue, GoDaddy will take us through some GoDaddy specific onboarding upsells. And if you purchased your domain somewhere else, you can disregard these steps. And if you purchase your domain from GoDaddy, you could also disregard these steps as well. For example, it looks like I have 2 similar domains and GoDaddy wants to know if I want to keep them separate. I obviously do, so I'll select keep separate. You probably won't have that problem. And then next, GoDaddy wants me to confirm my business details. This doesn't matter for our Cloudways setup, so you can literally type anything here and click continue. And then this is where GoDaddy starts with the upsells. Now, we don't need any of this, so go ahead and click Not Now for all of these add-ons. And then one more Not Now. And we're finally taken to our domain management page. So next, we'll configure the DNS settings so that this domain works with Cloudways. And this is where things can get a bit technical if you're brand new to DNS and domains, but trust me, it's super simple once you know what to do. So from the sidebar here, select Domain. Then click on the DNS tab to open the DNS records. And again, depending on your registrar, this may look a little different, but what we want to do is delete all of the A and C name records. And you'll more than likely have one A record and either one or a few C name records, but all you'll do is delete them by clicking the trash can icon next to each record and then confirming that you want to delete them. Then GoDaddy asked me to verify my identity for each one, so once I do that, the record will be officially deleted. And as you can see here, I'm now down to the 3 CNAME records. So let me follow the same steps to delete these 3 remaining records. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to make you sit through me deleting each of these CNAME records. But again, you'll want to be sure to delete the A record and the CNAME records. Also, if you do have a TXT record, which you more likely will, be sure to leave that in place. All you want to do is remove the A record and CNAME records. All right, then once all the necessary records are gone, it's time to add our new records so that the domain works with Cloudways. So the first record we'll add is the A record. However, for this one, you'll need your public IP. So head back to Cloudways And from the dashboard, click this little All Servers icon, and this will bring you to your server management page where all of your servers will be listed. So find the one associated with your site and click on it. And this will open your master credentials for the server. Then from here, copy the public IP address by clicking the copy icon next to it. Then once copied, head back to your domain registrar. And then from here, we'll need to add a new record. So click the Add New Record button, and you'll be presented with a few fields. It's pretty straightforward. For the type, select A from the dropdown. Then for the name, enter the @ symbol. For the value, paste the public IP that you just copied from Cloudways. And then for TTL, set it to 1 hour or automatic if you have the option. But GoDaddy doesn't give me the automatic option, so I'm setting the TTL to 1 hour. Okay, then once that's all filled out, click the Save button there towards the bottom right corner, and GoDaddy will make me verify my identity every time, but once that's done, you'll see the newly added A record. Then let's add the new CNAME record, so click the Add New Record button again, and this time set the record type to CNAME. Then in the name field, enter www. Then the value field will be your domain without any prefixes, so just enter your domain name. Then again, set the TTL to 1 hour or automatic if you have the option to do that. And then once that's all filled out, click the Save button. And then after I verify my identity, you'll see the new CNAME record has been successfully added. Now, please keep in mind that sometimes it takes up to 48 hours for these records to update globally. So if your domain isn't connecting to Cloudways right away, it's probably still propagating on GoDaddy's end, and you'll just have to sit tight. But for most cases, this will work within minutes of creating the new records. And on that note, let's head back to Cloudways and then open our WordPress application by clicking the www globe icon. And then from the panel on the right, select WordPress. And this time, open Domain Management. And from here, we want to add a new domain. So click the Add Domain button. And this will open a small pop-up window where you can enter the domain name that you just purchased. And in this case, it's benclouddemovideo.com. And then you can ignore the Add as Wildcard option for now, since we're only connecting a single domain and not setting up subdomains or multi-site configurations. So once you've entered your domain, click Save Changes. And then you should see a confirmation message in the top right corner of the screen saying that your additional domain has been added successfully. Now your new domain will appear in the list just below your temporary Cloudways domain. And you'll also notice that it's currently labeled as an alias, which means it's added but not yet set as the primary domain for the website. So to make it the main domain, click that 3-dot menu icon or the kebab icon next to your domain name, and then select Make Primary from the dropdown. And then a confirmation box will appear asking if you want to set your new domain as the primary one, and of course we do, so click Set as Primary to confirm. And then Cloudways will then automatically perform a quick search and replace process in your WordPress database to update the domain name across your entire site. Now, this took about a minute to finish, but I'm going to fast forward real quick, and once that is done, you'll see a new message pop up confirming that your domain has been updated successfully. And if you look at your domain list again, and your new domain should now show the blue primary label next to it. And that means your WordPress website is now officially live on your own custom domain instead of the temporary Cloudways domain. And then if we open a browser and try to visit the custom domain, more than likely your browser will warn you that this site isn't secure because it's not using the HTTPS prefix, and that's because we haven't set the SSL certificate yet. So to do that, let's head back to Cloudways, and from the sidebar, select SSL certificate, and this will bring you to the SSL management page, and all you're going to do here is make sure Let's Encrypt is selected from that first dropdown, and this is Cloudways' free SSL option, and it's perfect for securing your WordPress site without having to pay for a premium certificate. Then below that, enter your email address into the email address field, and this is just used for SSL renewal notifications. Then in the domain name field, type your full domain. And in this case, it's binclouddemovideo.com. And you can leave the apply wildcard option turned off and unchecked unless you're planning to secure subdomains as well. Okay, once that's set, click Install Certificate. And Cloudways will begin installing the SSL certificate from Let's Encrypt. And this usually only takes a few seconds, but it could take a minute or so. So just sit tight while it does its thing. And I'm actually going to fast forward really quick. But when it's finished, you'll see a confirmation message in the top right corner letting you know that your SSL certificate is now active and your website is officially secure. And to test it out, click the external link icon there next to your WordPress site name in the top left corner. And this will open your live site in a new tab. And if you look in the address bar, you'll see it now begins with the HTTPS prefix. That's the secure version of your site. And there you go. If this was your first time setting up an SSL certificate on a WordPress website, I want you to know that it typically isn't this easy with other shared hosts. The fact that Cloudways allows you to set this up in a few clicks is really awesome and a huge reason why I'm switching over to their hosting. Okay, your WordPress website is now live on your custom domain and fully protected with an SSL encryption. Congrats. So, on that note, let's move on and start customizing your WordPress blog. Now the fun begins, because you could start building your WordPress site, and all this begins by logging into your WordPress dashboard. So anytime you want to edit or make changes to your site, you're going to do so through your WordPress dashboard. And to get there, you have a few options. First, you could go to your Access Details page, and from here, find the admin panel username and password, and you'll see your WordPress login URL listed there. It'll be your domain followed by WP-admin. And you can access this URL here and then enter the login credentials listed below in order to log into WordPress. Or you could simply visit the WP-admin URL outside of Cloudways and then enter these login credentials as well. Either way, anytime you want to log into your WordPress backend, you'll first need to log in via this WP-admin URL. So for this example, we'll just access it here from Cloudways. And before I do that, let me copy this password really quick since we're going to use it to log in. Then when you click on the admin URL, you'll be taken to the WordPress login page. From here, simply enter your username, which in this case will be your email address that you signed up with, and then paste the password that we just copied, and click the login button. And welcome to your WordPress dashboard. If this is your first time here, think of this as home base for your WordPress website or blog. This is where you'll add content, install plugins, update your theme, publish blog posts, etc. Anytime you want to make a change to your site, it's going to be done through your WordPress dashboard and backend. And speaking of that, before we publish our first blog post, I always recommend installing and activating the RankMath SEO WordPress plugin. So most people wait until they have 50 articles written before they even think about SEO. That is a huge mistake. You want Google to understand your site structure from the very first crawl. And to do that, we're going to use a plugin called RankMath. In my opinion, it's currently one of the best SEO tools for WordPress because it handles all the technical stuff automatically. So from the sidebar on the left-hand side of the screen, click on the RankMath SEO menu item. Then the first thing RankMath will prompt you to do is connect a free account. Even though we're using the Pro version, this step is still required. Connecting your account allows RankMath to unlock features like keyword suggestions, SEO analysis, and integration with their content AI tool. So go ahead and click the Connect Your Account button. And if you're already logged into your RankMath account, you'll be taken straight to the plugin activation screen. Here, you'll see your domain and plan listed, and in my case, it's the Pro plan for binsbloggenerator.com. Now, if you're not logged in, you'll want to click the Login Here link to sign in with your RankMath credentials. Then, once everything looks good, click the OK Activate Now button to complete the setup and activate RankMath on your site. Next, you'll be taken straight into the Setup Wizard. This is where RankMath walks you through the initial configuration so it can tailor your SEO settings based on your specific website. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to walk you through this entire setup and connection process step by step. However, I do have a full in-depth RankMath tutorial that will show you how to go through this process step by step. It's more in-depth and I'll link to it in the video description below. But once you're connected and set up, this is how you can implement and leverage RankMath to boost your SEO. All right, next let's configure the SEO settings for your blog posts using RankMath. Whether you're writing a blog post or publishing a page, properly configuring your SEO settings can make a big difference in how easily readers find your content. So first, let's go over the post configurations. So from your WordPress dashboard, hover over the Post tab on the left-hand sidebar and select All Posts. And this will bring up a list of all your published and draft blog posts. And then find the post that you want to optimize. So hover your mouse over the title and click on where it says Edit. And this will bring you to the blog post editor. And then you'll want to look towards the top right corner of the screen. You'll see your current RankMath score displayed. Right now it's red, showing 7 out of 100, which is pretty bad, and there is definitely room for some improvement. So first things first, go ahead and click the score to open the RankMath settings panel. Here you'll see several sections under the General tab where you can work through to optimize your post, starting with a live preview of how your post will appear in the search results. This is helpful because it gives you an instant visual of what users will see when your content shows up in the search engines like Google. You can make sure your title is clear, your URL is concise, and your meta description is compelling. 3 things that can directly influence whether someone clicks on your post or scrolls past it. So to begin, click the Edit Snippet button, and this will open up the snippet editor where you can customize the title, permalink, and description for your post. And as you can see, the title is a little bit long, which RankMath flags with a red bar, but maybe try trimming the headline so it fits within the character limits while still including your target keyword. Below that, you could check the permalink. Ideally, it should be short, descriptive, and include your focus keyword, but you can configure it here to improve your RankMath SEO score as well. Then below that is the meta description. This is a short summary that appears beneath your title in the search results. It should clearly explain what your post is about and entice readers to click through. Again, you'll want to stay within the character limits to avoid getting cut off. All right, then once you're done configuring the settings here, you can click on the Social tab at the top of the editor. And here you could customize how your post looks when shared on platforms like Facebook or X. You can upload a featured image, at least 600 by 315 pixels with 1200 by 630 recommended, and you could also update the title and description for social sharing. This helps ensure that your content looks polished and professional when people share it on social media, which can boost engagement and your click-throughs. All right, that's it for the snippet editor. With just a few quick tweaks, you can significantly improve your post's visibility and performance across search engines and social platforms. Next, let's go over the focus keyword section within the RankMath SEO general post settings. This is where you'll tell RankMath what your main keyword is, so it can help you optimize the post around that term. So to get started, click inside the focus keyword field and just type the primary keyword or phrase that you're targeting. Now, if you're not sure which keyword to use, click that little Google Trends icon there in the right, and this opens a window where you could research trending keywords, filter results by location and time range, and choose the one that best fits your content. This is a really cool feature. Okay, so for this example, the keyword I'm going to use is AI and blogging. Then once your keyword is entered, RankMath will analyze your post and generate an SEO score out of 100. This score is color-coded. Red means your post needs significant SEO improvement. Yellow means you're on the right track, but there's still some work to do. And green means your post is well optimized for that keyword. You'll also see a checklist showing how you scored on some basic SEO best practice recommendations. For the most part, we're all green here, which is good, and this gives you a clear, actionable guide to improve your optimization before hitting publish. Below that are some additional SEO checklist recommendations, and clicking on each tab will show you how you scored and where you can make improvements within your content in order to improve your score, which will in turn optimize your post and improve your content's SEO. For example, if we take a look at the additional tab, you'll see that this section shows 5 total errors. A few things are already in good shape here. The focus keyword is found in the subheadings and in the image alt attributes. The keyword density is also on target, sitting at 1.2% with the keyword appearing 9 times throughout the post. And since this is the first time this focus keyword has been used on the site, RankMath gives us a green check mark for that as well. That said, there are still a few issues that need to be addressed. The URL is currently 90 characters long, which is too lengthy, so RankMath recommends shortening it. The post also doesn't contain any external links, and there are no do-follow links pointing to external resources either. Now, we haven't added any internal or external links yet, and we also haven't used the Content AI feature to further optimize this post as well. But all of these show up in the red, so they'll need to be fixed. Next, if we check out the Title Readability tab, there are 2 errors showing here. The good news is the focus keyword is placed at the beginning of the SEO title, and the title itself has a clear sentiment, so both of these are marked green, but the title doesn't contain a power word, and there's no number in the SEO title either. Both of those terms are marked in red, and you can adjust those to improve your score if you want to add a power word and some numbers to the title, but again, that is up to you. Next, let's check on the Content Readability tab, and this section shows 1 red error. RankMath is flagging that we're not currently using a table of contents, which helps with both SEO and user experience. However, there are some positives here too. The content uses short paragraphs, which improves readability and earns a green checkmark. There's also at least 1 image or video included in the post, but that item is marked in yellow, which suggests that adding more visual content could further improve this post. And making small changes in each of these areas will help push your post from red or yellow into the green, ultimately improving your overall SEO score and visibility. All right, now let's walk through the remaining sections of the RankMath SEO settings panel, starting with the Advanced tab. And to access it, just click on that briefcase icon at the top of the RankMath panel. And this section controls how search engines interact with your content. You'll see several options under the robots meta settings. For most blog posts, you'll want to make sure the index box is checked so that search engines can include your post in the search results. Options like no index, no archive, or no snippet should generally be left unchecked unless you have a specific reason to exclude the content from search visibility. Below that, in the Advanced Robots Meta section, you can leave the default values as is unless you're trying to control how snippets, images, or video previews appear in search results. Lastly, at the bottom of this tab is the canonical URL field, which helps prevent duplicate content issues by specifying the original version of the URL. Most of the time, RankMath will autofill this for you. Next, click the Schema tab, which is the one with the star in a box icon. And schema markup helps search engines better understand the type of content you've published. If you're writing a blog post or article, RankMath usually applies the article schema by default, and that's what we see here under schema and use. But if your post is something like a recipe, FAQ, or product review, you can click the blue schema generator button to explore other schema types. From there, you could choose from a variety of templates like book, course, FAQ, product, and more. Just click the use next to the one that best matches your content, and it'll be added automatically. Now let's move over to the Social tab, which is represented by the cluster of connected dots. And this section is exactly like the social section that we used a little earlier to set how your blog post will appear when shared on platforms like Facebook and X. The steps here are the exact same that we went through a little earlier. So that wraps up the advanced RankMath SEO options you can configure directly within your blog post. These tabs give you even more control over how your content is indexed, understood, and shared by search engines and social platforms. Then the same goes for your blog pages. Even though the content is classified differently, the SEO logic behind them remains somewhat similar with the RankMath SEO plugin. As you can see, the configuration settings within the page are the exact same as the blog post SEO settings we just covered with the post. So as you begin getting familiar with these settings, you'll be ready to optimize both blog content and website page content with the RankMath SEO plugin. Okay, the moment of truth. We've built the site, we've installed the SEO framework, and we've published and optimized some content. Now let's see how it actually performs. So I'm gonna run this blog post's URL through Google PageSpeed Insights. And after it's analyzed, look at that. We're hitting all green scores on desktop right out the gate. Now, why is this happening? It's not magic. It's the result of a clean formula. Clean infrastructure. We used Cloudways to get dedicated resources, not overcrowded shared hosting. We got clean code. We used a fresh WordPress install, and then clean structure. We used AI to plan the site logically before we started cluttering it up. And this is the foundation you need. While your competitors are fighting with caching plugins trying to shave off milliseconds, you're able to focus on creating content that's optimized for the search engines at blazing speed and performance. So there you have it, the start of BlogFast Blueprint. We moved from a vague idea to a fully functioning, high-performance asset, and we used AI to handle the strategy and writing, and then we used Cloudways to handle the performance and security. And if you want to replicate this exact setup, I've dropped a link to Cloudways in the video description below. They usually have a free trial going on, so you could spin up a server and test this workflow out for yourself without paying anything upfront for a few days. And try not to overthink it. The technology has never been better, and the barrier to entry has never been lower. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. So that's gonna do it for this video. If you found it helpful, I'd greatly appreciate it if you would like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Blog with Ben YouTube channel. Also, if you're looking to start a blog, check out these 2 videos on how to build, grow, and monetize a WordPress blog. They'll walk you through the entire process step by step. And as always, your support means a great deal to me and my family, and for that, I thank you. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.